Hello.
Hello.
Thank you, everyone that's going to be here. It's still showing 0 at the moment.
Let's hope we get 1.
Yeah. I mean, we had someone really early this morning, very early this morning, saying looking forward to this.
9:05.
That's a bit early. That was before you asked me to be here.
Yeah. We're literally eating scrambled eggs on toast about 9 o'clock this morning.
Yeah. So, what did everyone rate the book?
Right.
Was mine like that, maybe? Like a 4.5-ish? Nearly 5.
That's still a good rating. I feel like this one has a lot to talk about as well.
Oh my God, so much.
And
So
I mean,
much.
I'm just so happy because I was annotating it. I don't know why I've decided that my children need to read these books. So I've been annotating it, but not spoiling anything as I go, because obviously there's some big things that I was happy that were happening, but normal people probably shouldn't be happy that they're happening. So when a certain thing got revealed, I was like, yes, I don't have to like censor my annotations anymore.
I have been like that, but I'm like full on. My annotating is full on spoilery. I'm like, no one but me is ever going to look at these.
This annotation says, I'm just glad I don't need to censor my annotations anymore.
You literally wrote it down.
Oh, yeah. And then finally, we all know.
Well, I got spoiled because I was looking through Twitter and somebody literally put a post up saying, oh, this, I was like, I had my thoughts. Anyway, I had a feeling, and I mentioned to Becca I had a feeling. But then for them to literally come out and say it, I was like, okay, so I know.
Like, I do get that this book is like over a decade old,
but still.
I still would put a spoiler warning. You can still put the tweet if you want, but put like spoilers below and then do a few lines or something. But no.
I still get annoyed when people spoil Love, Mice and Men. So, and that's a lot older. That is like one spoiler I never understand. I'm like,
I'm not that person because that same person then started randomly tweeting about Lunar Chronicles and certain things in Lunar Chronicles, and I was like,
that's a really
not
new block. I'd be really annoyed because I've not read that series yet. To be fair, I get annoyed seeing spoilers for stuff I have read because I'm like, there's people that haven't read that, and that's a major thing you've just spoiled.
Put in like hashtag Lunar Chronicles, so if you search anything related to Lunar Chronicles on Twitter, that will now come up because
yeah.
Well, because there's like, I would say there's probably 2 things in this that if you know, it completely spoils your enjoyment of the whole book. So when I mean, I don't know how fast you're getting into any spoilery things, but when a certain character was introduced, I just did like a winky face, and I was like,
I was like, oh. I mean, I feel like if from this point, if you haven't read this book and you don't want spoilers, leave. Because this is fully spoilery for this book and the previous 2, but nothing past this.
You can't really discuss anything in that without spoiling anyway.
Yeah.
It literally starts off with like, it's just spoilerable from book page 1.
Yeah.
So,
all right, there are some comments. Hello, Jamie. 5. Yes. We love this. Hello, 4 stars. That's a good
respectable.
Hello. And I know Tony was going to give it a 5-star. It was a reread for her too. Hello.
How out of frame is Liv right now saying hello?
She's literally sat over there on the sofa waving at us. But she's not doing a reread anymore. She did the first book and then realised TMI is not the one that she wants to reread. So you'll see her on the live shows when we get to Infernal Devices.
Which are the ones I'm like, do I need to reread them? But then I know they feed more into the other stuff, don't they? So
yeah.
Anyway, unrelated to today's.
Hello, Rosie. Gonna go again, but seeing you 2 together is serotonin.
You're welcome.
Right now, Rosie, I don't want you to get spoiled. So I love you, but please go.
Yeah.
Hello. I gave this one 4 stars at some point and I've never felt the need to change it. That's
Yeah.
fair.
Mhm.
I've always given these 5 stars when I originally read them years ago.
Mhm.
And on every single reread, I've given them 5 stars still. But I was wondering if it would still get 5 stars, because this is my first reread where I've been using Corpile. But and I'm very much with Corpile. I don't try and tweak to get the one I want, like the rating I want.
Yeah.
I will just do my feel, like how I feel about it. And before I've tweaked it, but in the way I've done it, and then I'm like, those numbers don't look right. They should be lower. And I've like tweaked it lower, but they've all come out as 5 stars so far. So
I'm actually now thinking, I think I did I up it to because it was 5 the first time I read it, then it was a 4.5, and now I'm like, did I leave it a 4.5 or did I make it a 5? I don't even know anymore. It was all very quick.
I mean, you read basically the entire book today.
Yeah.
Which is impressive.
It's a big book.
A lot goes on in this book, so it's not like it's an eventful read.
Yeah. It was my first time reading it. I'm really glad that you're enjoying them, especially on a first time.
Series.
I thought that you would, which is why I recommended them. Hello, only halfway through. Was trying to read it all today, but only managed to get halfway. I'm halfway through chapter 12, but I think it will be a 5-star. I love that for you.
I will just see where number 12 is.
Yeah. We're just gonna see.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's about halfway through. Yeah, he's like basically dead on halfway through.
Yeah, but the thing hasn't been announced yet, so
no. So
let's talk up until that point for now.
Let's start with the beginning of the book. We'll try and not do spoilers for the end. But I wrote my notes as I was reading it, so it's all in order with page numbers and everything. So I know.
I literally read it far too quick for that. I was like, audio book on, book open, and I binged it in like a sitting. This is the beginning of the month as well. I was like, what book can I do? I was just like, yeah, I binged it. Right. I started and I read this. I finished it in one day. Next.
Right. Page 266. I've got a full page of notes that are before that page number.
Yeah.
So you're okay. Stay for the first part.
I've actually realised I got overexcited with the finally we all know comment. I don't know if it's going to pick up. Can you see it's marked on the outside? So that's when that happens. Because I just went a bit too far with my notes. So that's on page 373. So we can't mention that yet.
Oh, okay. So the first thing, Clary.
Yep.
Just going for a portal. Like, just
Idiot.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Makes a portal.
Despite knowing how badly magic can backfire, you do not know what you're doing. And she's just like, meh. And I really don't think you could blame this on being a teenager anymore. No. She's literally just like, I'm going to do what I want. I was like, oh.
It's the fact that as she was going to go, they were like, don't do that. You could die. And
yes.
Yeah. She just has no, like, no, like, I can't think of the word.
Forethought.
Yeah. Like, she just, well, no, that's not the right word, because there is some forethought, because people are saying, don't do this, you might die. But she just doesn't care. If it's not,
I was left out. I don't care if I'll die. And I'm like,
how dare Jace try and tell me what to do?
It's like all she needed to do was stamp her feet.
Wait, doesn't Luke actually say that at some point? And he's like, you had a tantrum just after they've gone through. And I'm like, she did.
I love that Luke does that though.
Yeah.
Because he sort of like, not mollycoddles her, but he kind of does, because, you know, her mum's in a coma, you can kind of understand her being a little bit of a brat.
Kind of like raised her basically for the last 8 years.
But like, you've never seen him like actually like tell her off.
Yeah.
I love that bit.
Like, and I'm just like, Luke, I love you. Finally.
I'm just imagining Isaiah, Luke in the series. That whole scene was like Isaiah telling off Clary in that scene. It's like
you can see him because he plays it so well in the show that you can just see him doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the whole Clary making portals thing.
I was like, I kind of expected that might be when they started talking about portals and her leaving her behind. I kind of expected that might be something she'd be able to do, because if she could create a goddamn room, she could probably create next level.
How is she now going to get to Idris without a portal by Magnus?
I feel like it made sense. Well, it was like an easy way in that situation of she's been left behind, so she's got to do it herself. So in a way, like, that's annoying because it was convenient, but at least it carried on. Like, it wasn't just a one-off. Oh, I can do this now. It was like, oh, I'm going to do this a few times. Oh, my granddad is trying to video call me. This is not the time.
That is not perfect timing.
Like, what? No text. Are you doing anything? Just, hello, granddad. Sorry, not right now.
But yeah, she's an idiot, and it is well established, and you sort of give her a bit of leeway in the first couple of books, because the first book especially, because she's just thrown into this and she's like, what? And then the second book, it's like, okay, well, she's had this thing, like, she's apparently got this brother who is the guy that she was falling for, and now, you know, now it's her brother, and her mum's in a coma still, and
even it was kind of like, I'd rather like moan about my boy troubles than my mum in a coma.
Like, I mean, to be fair, so that's some people deal with stuff differently. Like, you know, focus on the like thing that you don't think is as big a deal. You know, like boy troubles over your mum being in a coma because you don't want to face that. So I can understand that, but then in this one, she just needs to stop.
Because how many stupid decisions has she made that's got her in trouble?
Yeah.
And then I think even Jace says it at some point, and he's like, you just only think about what you want in that moment.
You're selfish. She hates the fact. So what to do? She storms out because he calls her selfish. This is what I mean. Like,
develop yourself.
What I want to hear, so I'm just gonna go.
Book 2. Forget about my mum, who I'm supposed to forget about. My mum.
Who am I supposed to be?
My bad. Book 3, I refuse to be left out. I'm the only one allowed to save my mum. Like, the thing is, it's literally a case of Jace is like, I will find this thing out for you on how to get her to wake up. No, I'm going to do it. Like, it doesn't matter who does it, as long as someone does it.
And what she forgets is that these people have been around this place for a lot longer. They know how things work and that kind of thing. And she seems to forget that she's literally been in this world for a matter of months.
Yeah.
She still has not had any formal training whatsoever. She's wielding a Stella left, right. Like, I'll be borrowing your Stella.
Only when she's not lost her own. I wrote down twice. She needs to stop losing these. She's like, I think it's in the lake. You're like,
well, if you hadn't made a portal and gone through it, you wouldn't have ended up in the lake, would you?
And obviously we're keeping it like minimum spoilers for now, but obviously there's a second lake moment, and I wrote down, I bet she's lost it, and then she hadn't, and I was like, oh, guess what? She's got it when she needs it. When there's no one she can borrow, she's not lost it. She needs like a zip. Like,
you would think Shadowhunter gear would have zips. They all have to carry one of these things.
Oh, like when you hook your keys onto the little chain on your
have a little keyring thing. To be fair, I cosplayed a Shadowhunter a few years back, and I did keep almost losing my stuff.
Good, Claire.
That's who I was cosplaying. It was unintentional.
Took him in too far, though, literal.
I'm trying to find my
She has a whole thing with portals in the first book as well. She never learns. She really doesn't. Like, you would think she would learn by this point, but no. Oh, hello, Erin. Hello. There is a Lisa at my place. How was the lasagna?
Amazing. Second time I've had it.
We had a Christmas dinner today. Not just any roast. We had a Christmas dinner. Because that's what I wanted. Because it's my birthday week, so you know.
I'm so sad I'm not there. You know what I had? I had ramen noodles.
I mean, that is also good, but it's not a Christmas dinner.
Oh.
With pigs in blankets and the whole shebang. Not to rub it in or anything.
Tell us you have to come next time.
You'll have to come next time, Mum said.
I'm just mad. Oh, here we go. She needs to stop losing cellos. It's there.
They do need little pouches. But I feel like Isabel probably has those sort of like leggings that have the zips and she can
like athletic leggings.
Leather ones.
Yeah.
She definitely has some sort of like leather leggings with a zip somewhere to put that because she doesn't use this.
I'm thinking she wears a lot of dresses. She could have one of those like garter belts.
You know she does.
Yeah, that would be cool. As if no one can see my leg. I'm like rubbing my leg. Like that's where it would go.
Jealous Christmas sounds delicious. I want Christmas dinner.
Same, Jamie, same.
I love this. Clary, end of book 2, inherits her mum's stele. Clary, book 3, immediately loses mum's stele.
And she's not sad. You'd think that's a big deal. How many of these have they got going around? Like, is there a shop? Like, how do they get another?
I want that one.
I don't know.
They never tell you how you actually get.
No.
They just suddenly have extras.
Yeah, they're just lying around.
Conveniently have one right. There you go.
I hate the Inquisitor.
Yes.
Obviously, we have a new Inquisitor now.
Oh, I immediately was like,
Auditory makes my skin crawl.
I think I wrote down the word ick.
Yeah.
Ick. He does. He is that sort of character that gives you the ick.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they were saying he was so nice, and I was just like, no, he's not. He's not.
No.
Red flag, red flag. Woo woo. Alarm was going off. I'm like, I don't like him.
Yeah. Forgot how much I hated the book version of Auditory because the television version is fairly bad, but not as bad. And I always forget because he's just like in the TV show, he's not too bad. He's still a bit, but nowhere near the level in the book. And it's just like, why did they not write this properly into the TV show? Because he is horrible. Like he's worse than Imogen.
Yeah.
Like, I would never trust this weird man. Am I exactly?
Because he pretends to be nice, and you know that if that kind of person came up to you in face to face, you'd be like, no.
It's far too nice.
No.
I think I'll just go this way.
I'm just not going to go with you. I'm just going to get that one.
The Iron Sisters, no, they are in the book. They've not really been. Have they actually been mentioned? I think they've been mentioned in passing at this point, but it's just sort of a thing like, oh yeah, the Iron Sisters are basically kind of like the Silent Brothers.
Yeah, that's the only thing they've mentioned,
and that's it. I think that's all you get of them. You definitely do see more of them in the TV show, but then again, the part of the TV show you hear about them is more towards the end of this series.
Yeah.
Like, so you do learn more about Iron Sisters.
I feel like this book does have a lot of the TV show.
Yeah.
A lot, because obviously if I don't... Oh, say again, sorry, I talked directly.
Except one thing that they changed completely, which we'll go into when we get more spoilery nearer the second half.
But yeah, it was because there's stuff I can't remember whether it's the next book, so obviously I won't say anything, but there's certain things I don't talk to Cole about what I read, but he has watched Shadowhunters, so I'm like, oh, we just got to this bit, like, and he's like, oh yeah, when that happens and then this happens, and I'm like, no, it doesn't. That's just not right.
Yeah, I felt with the TV show, they sort of took their time a bit, and then the last like book and a half, they just rushed in like the last couple of episodes, and it was like, okay. How much are you keeping out of this then? Okay, cool. Yeah. Cool. There's a reason we don't like the TV show. Yeah, we don't like Auditory. Didn't trust him even when he was being nice. He's the sort of nice not to trust, though.
Yeah.
It's not like he's someone that you instantly feel like you can trust, because there are a few characters in, not necessarily this book, but in books in general, and you're like, oh, they seem nice, but you don't think they're not. Yeah. And then they shock you. But this is like instant, no, please get out of my face.
Well, I think it's because they said a few times like that he just had a weird look about him that you couldn't pin down, and he just like it would say he did something weird, and I'm like, okay, so we need to know to be skeptical of him. Like, we're not just overthinking it.
Literally here, when Alec takes Simon up there, it's like, don't watch him go through that portal. Don't leave until he's gone through the portal back to New York. But no, Alec is so much, let's just, believe everything they say because they are the government.
It annoys him because you know that he doesn't want to just do it, but he's doing it because, those are the rules and I need to stick to the rules and that's what I'm supposed to do. Even if you know that he would have had a feeling that he wasn't a good person, because the rules were he goes with them, he just let it happen and he doesn't question it. And I'm like, dude, please.
I just tried not to laugh because I found my other annotation, which is where he's walked him into the cell and he's like, oh, the portal's in here. And I just put, such a fishy man. Like, this is why I want people to read my books after, because my thoughts as I'm going through. Like,
well, Simon did the typical Simon thing. He didn't clock on at all. No. It was just like, oh, the portal's in here.
Yeah, he's so weak, bless him. Like, I love Simon, but dude, come on.
And also she was like, no.
Simon.
No.
What's the next thing? So Jace acting all defensive and protective when Clara showed up in Idris made me angry. But it's like, whether your boyfriend, brother, whatever he is, he has no right to play the man who's going to be like, oh, you're a girl, I have to be defensive and protective. And I'm like, Jace, please stop.
Because, like, I can think of why, but that doesn't make it okay. Like, he doesn't want her to be around them because she's got this power and they can't know about it. And, like, Simon's not supposed to be there because he's influenced, like, everything. But I'm like, okay, don't be that much of a twat, though.
Yeah. And if he was to actually tell people and not just be like, no, you can't be here. Yeah. Like, if he was like to talk, but Jace doesn't know how to do this.
No.
Because he's just like, no, I'm going to do it this way. It's my way. Like, you don't see Alec and Izzy acting like that.
But it's like he hasn't learned either. He's still as stubborn. Even though he knows that there's people there that care about him, he still defaults to stubborn, keeping things in. And it's like he hasn't learned either. But it's the opposite of Claire, who just rushes off and does things by herself and doesn't even crap. He's just like, I need to be, all of a sudden, he wants to be a big bro. And I'm like, no. Let's not try that.
Stop that.
No.
Yeah. It was the instant, don't leave Simon.
Don't leave Simon.
And then, like, Alec got back and Jace was like, did you see him go through? No, I left him there. And it's like, why? And then Jason's like, I'm going to have to go and, like, sort this out.
This is exactly what I told you not to do. Thank you.
But Older Tree said he was going to sort it, but I said, don't leave.
Listen.
Yeah, this exactly. Alec's the eldest, the rule follower, the good soldier. He does what he's told.
Yeah.
He does. He's very much like, I've been told to do this, I have to do it. I am the oldest, I've got to look after everyone. But he doesn't use his brain and his common sense sometimes. Like, he is a very smart person, but he's also not.
He does not use his noggin at all.
He does not. He just follows the rules, but the rules sometimes do have to be broken when they're being put forward by people like Older Tree. Like, you've got to use your common sense as well. Yes. He deserved to be ignored, but they're also both absolute children who just, need to learn to talk about this instead of throwing straws.
She's just like, no inhibitions, go up by herself, do what she wants. And he's just like stubborn in setting his ways, like an old man, like my way or the highway kind of old way of thinking. And they just, no communication. I'm like, if people spoke in this book, my God.
Yeah, because they even have, like, obviously, again, second half, but like, oh, I feel this way. Okay, no, I feel this way. But you said you feel this way. No, but you said you feel this way. Like, have a conversation where you're both honest.
Yeah.
And just sit and explain everything.
It does sometimes feel like the miscommunication trope is used a bit too much sometimes, because you just
like
want to literally
400 pages.
these are the characters' heads. You just want to smash their heads together because they're being so stupid.
There's only so many times you can say, well, yeah, but the teenagers, yeah, but with everything they've been through, despite them being teenagers, you just thought they'd learn something.
Yeah.
It's like learn from what's happened, work together, because you know that works.
Well, even Alec, he's 18, and it'll be like, well, I'm not speaking to him because I think this, and I'm like, you're an adult. We're not in high school. Sort yourself out.
Exactly. I'm listening to the audiobooks that are based on the original editions alongside a newer edition of the books, and there are a few parts that have been rewritten. I did not know there was a rewrite, like any rewrites of this series.
Interesting.
I think my editions are they're not fairly new, I've had them for years, but
these are the new ones, I think.
Yeah, I think
maybe
these
it was
are
a rewrite
newer.
when they redid the covers.
Yeah, possibly. But yeah, like I think the first time I read them was on ebook, so maybe it was a older one, because it was so long between my first and second reread. Like I didn't notice the changes because it had been so long. But that's interesting. I didn't know that. You underestimate the ability for adults to act like children in real life, Claire.
Well, I mean, we have had evidence of that over the past couple of days, but we just won't know.
Oh, we have. We definitely have.
So adults are children, but at least let's make them like adults in fiction, please.
Yeah. So Jace calling out Alec about him not actually having feelings for Jace.
Oh, that bit.
I feel like that was a much needed conversation.
Yeah.
And I, for once, think Jace actually communicated something really well.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time I read it, and that started, I was like, oh God, please don't do this, Jace. But then he actually put it really well. It's page 135.
Thank you.
I could see you looking, I was like, I'm going to help you out here. Like, I literally, with my post-it notes, because I don't actually write in the book, I like underlined the entire section from like here all the way.
Yep.
No, there
to there. And
yeah.
My actual words, it won't come up, say, love this conversation.
Yeah, I was like, I love. But it was definitely a conversation that needed to be had, because they hadn't actually, Jace had not addressed that this was a thing until this point.
Yeah.
It was sort of like very much everyone acknowledged this crush except Jace.
Yeah. See, I didn't think that he knew. I thought he was that oblivious and just being so in his own world that he didn't know. But then when this conversation happened, I'm like, you've known this whole time and just chosen again. I'm super surprised because he doesn't communicate. But you've chosen not to communicate this with, like, have this discussion, leaving Alec reeling about his feelings and not knowing. And then you just like drop this bomb and you were just like, mic drop, see you, mate.
Yeah, and it's especially, it gave Alec the kick up the arse he needed to just act how he wanted, rather than just like, oh yeah, I can't do that. Magnus hasn't called me back. You're like,
that was just
because we sort of had like a glimpse of like what Alec could be when he had the fearless rune in the second book, and he was like fully about to just tell everyone, and then it was like no. Which I'm glad that he didn't, just tell everyone then, because it was not under his own terms.
Yeah, it's kind of being outed without.
Yeah, even though it was him saying it.
The thing that happens like here is under his own terms, and I was like,
yeah.
I'd read it before, obviously, and I still read it again, and I was like, I'm so proud. I'm so happy for you.
It is one of my favourite things. But yeah, I like how he sort of like owns it finally. He owns his identity and actually talks about it in this one.
Yeah.
It took long enough.
I know.
Halfway through the series. Yes, he is. I think he knew about Alec's feelings but chose not to acknowledge it. Yeah. I think maybe part of it was him being like, oh, if we don't talk about it, it will go away.
Yeah.
Just like him and Clary don't really talk about it. They talk around it. They get snappy with each other, but they don't really, they're like, just express yourself in a sensitive way, like a normal, adult conversation. Nope, let's just snipe at each other and just make each other jealous and no.
Yeah. It was definitely a turning point for Alec. And it was a very good turning point.
That
It was
amazing.
necessary.
It was.
It was.
So the next note I have is past the 200-page mark. It's still before halfway. Page 212 for anyone following along. Max being like, "Oh, I saw someone climbing the tower. Climb the towers. No, you were just dreaming. You've read too many comics or whatever. Go back to bed." It's like, why does no one ever listen to the kid?
No.
Like, listen to the child.
But the thing is, as well, they know that Valentine is out there, and they know how evil he is. So it's obvious that he'll be planning something. You can't just assume that this place has been protected by these walls for so many years without being changed. It's just something going to protect you that no new magic can ever have. I'm like, dude, seriously?
They're so confident in these walls.
But I just didn't get, they obviously know for 3 books now, however long that actually is in time, that Valentine is trying to get at them.
Yes.
So why would you not go, maybe we should check that? Don't believe him, but maybe we should check that out. Yeah.
Like, but no. Just go back to bed, Max. Like, it's fine. You're just dreaming.
I didn't trust Sebastian from the first time we met him.
Yeah, let's talk about Sebastian.
As soon as we met him and he started to be like very clingy with Claire, I'm like, I do not like you. I don't trust you. You are too overprotective, too quick, and too invested too quick, and you give me the ick. If anyone came onto me that fast, I'd be like, whoa, dude. Step away.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird.
Sebastian fully gives me the ick.
Yeah.
No, I was going to Google it, but I ran out of time. You know when they Sebastian and Jace say a sentence to each other in Romanian? I think it is.
Yes.
Do we know what they say?
I don't think it's ever actually said what it is. Yeah. I'll look at the comments where you Google. On the flip side of that, they all believe that the walls aren't able to come down, and a child has come out saying he's had a weird dream. Auto responses calm the child. Yeah, and usually it'd be like, calm the child. You're probably just dreaming, but you would think they should alert someone and just be like, can you? This is probably going to be far fetched, but you know what Valentine's like. Can you go check it out?
That's what I mean. Like, it's not like he's just made this on top of his head. They know that Valentine wants to get hold of these items in order to, take over the world, whatever.
Yeah.
So they're all on high alert anyway. The adults are already in talks of how to take Valentine down. And from what we know of Max, yeah, he wants to get involved and be part of the Shadowhunters, but he's not come across before and been like, oh, I've had a bad dream.
Like know this.
Yeah, it's not like it's
out of character for him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I could understand, like you just said, boy cry wolf. If it was something he was doing all the time, then fair. Maybe don't believe him. But still, in that situation, you would do everything to make sure everything's okay. Mm-hmm.
But the only thing he's ever wanted to do prior to this is get involved and be part of the gang. You know what I mean?
He's not going to make up something like that.
Yeah, that was just strange for me.
So I'm downloading the where you can use your camera and just. I'm too lazy to try and type out the Romanian alphabet. It's just not. Don't have that amount of time.
Didn't get why, or just ignored what he was saying. Like, at least check it out. It would have 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was so annoying they didn't listen to him. I can see why they gave Max the response they did. It's a very adult response. But the thing is, he didn't even say this to the adults. He said it to his siblings and, like, the other teenagers there, which, okay, fair, teenagers aren't going to listen to a kid. Yeah. But Alec is, like, on the verge of, like, he's trying to be a good soldier, and you'd think he would have, like, alerted someone and be like, look, I know this sounds weird, but you want to check it out?
And again, because of the situation they're in, with Valentine being
if it was any other normal like visit to Idris, fair.
Yeah.
But they know that Valentine's trying to get into Idris.
And they already know that Clary's done it by creating a shadow rune, and she's Valentine's daughter, so if she can do that, what can he do?
Yeah, if she yeah.
Sorry, I was listening, but this was taking much more concentration than I had.
I had a bad feeling about Sebastian from the get-go.
Same.
Yes. I wasn't sure about him from the beginning. Have you found it?
Wait, it doesn't really make... So it says, Jace smiled. Why do you think we were listening to your conversation? But I'm trying to... That doesn't... I can't really remember what the whole conversation was. So,
what page is it?
74. So I'm just trying to do what Sebastian says back. It's really hard when there's multiple languages on a page. It struggles to pick it up. It's actually quite complicated to use this app. You've been following me since you got here, he replied. I don't know if you don't like me or if you're so suspicious of everyone.
Ooh.
See, that was worthwhile.
That was.
Yeah.
So now we kind of knew Jace was a bit iffy about him anyway, but that just sort of they were sort of standoffish towards each other, weren't they? Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that was fun.
I'm also wondering if he's sort of like, there was, I don't know if it's ever mentioned in this book, but like obviously there's certain things Sebastian will do or say, and Jace is like, why do I feel like I'm getting like a deja vu type thing? And it's like, I mean, you find out why, but you know, I'm not going to say that more at the moment because I think that's very, very near the end. But he is definitely a walking red flag.
Yeah.
And like when they, I don't know when it is that I think it's before this, when they go to when Sebastian and Clary go out for that horse ride.
Oh, yeah.
That is earlier, isn't it?
That
made me feel weird the first time I read it.
Well, it's because I think I liked it the first time because I was like 14 and very excitable. But there was a part where
he's very possessive of her.
that he's saying that, well, she's saying that he sat behind her, and I think her exact words are like his arms are like a cage holding him. I'm like, oh, we did cage.
Is that really the right word?
Protecting, maybe? Not
yeah.
Holding.
Protecting me from falling, not a cage.
I could be wrong, but I remember it being an icky word.
I mean, Tony's like, Sebastian is so icky. And it gets even worse with Sebastian.
Oh God. The thing is, you could tell that she had a feeling about him. She even says that she has this feeling that when she doesn't have a good feeling, and it feels like quite a dark feeling. It was like, listen to that, because as soon as she started saying that, I'm like, yes, I know he's gonna be creepy. It's bad. But then we find out why would that look like.
This is why people have intuition.
Yeah.
If you get an icky feeling, you go.
Yeah.
No.
Their parents aren't there, so you've got teenagers who are acting like adults and trying to be parents.
Yeah.
The thing is, Alec is an adult. He could have gone to the guard when he's 18, but he's not there.
Do we know why he didn't go?
I think it is mentioned, but I can't actually remember.
Because obviously I've read it all today, and I can't vividly remember why he didn't go, because he makes a big point like, well, I'm the only one who can go, and I'm like, well, go then.
Yeah, I think it's maybe the fact that like their parents were like, no, you need to, I would rather you stay with siblings and be the adult there, seems as there's no other adults, because that I mean, when things start going down, it makes a point of saying that part of the city is only kids and the elderly.
Yeah.
So Maris and Robert know what Valentine's like, and they've been like, Alec, please stay with your siblings. We'd rather there be someone who's an adult there.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Izzy would be okay on her own because this is Izzy, but she is only like 15, 16 at this point.
I forget.
She seems to be like the only one that can like balance things out, and like you've got the two fighting little children in Jason and Clary. You've got the wannabe adult in Alec who just doesn't have a pair of balls, and then Izzy was just like she's a go between all of them. And she's just the kind of person like, sit down, listen, you do this, you do this, you do this. Okay, sorted, right.
Oh, in the literal edition, some of Cassandra's notes can be a bit spoilery, and one of them is around that point between Jason and Sebastian. I feel like that moment is something that shouldn't be a spoilery comment. But I feel like they should have made a point of, I don't think they did on the literal edition, saying that maybe in your first time reading, don't read these editions.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, I don't know if anyone would have spent out that sort of money if they hadn't already read and knew they loved the books.
Yeah, I didn't even know what these editions look like. I'm happy with my Works box set.
They were great. The slipcase was horrendous.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I was fully like, when they first announced it, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to have hardbacks. Then I saw the price and I was like, okay, no, it's fine. It's fine. It's one of my favorite series. It's fine. And then they released what it was going to look like. And the books themselves, they had to redesign because people did not like them, to the point everyone was saying, I'm not buying this. So the artist redesigned them slightly and then they looked nice. But then they added in the slipcase and it was like, please stop.
I'm just going to do a quick Google.
But yeah, I feel like the notes should not be spoilery.
No.
Like, not at that point. Maybe at the point where things are at the spoilery part, put see back to this page.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it will click.
Definitely.
Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Chloe's look of disgust.
Do you see why I didn't want to pay out like 300 quid?
It's just not very nice at all.
I know.
Like even the font that they've used on this.
Yep.
I'm really not impressed. Well, apparently it's only $245 now.
Oh no, that's not including shipping though. With shipping to the UK, it worked out to like almost 300 quid. And I was like, no, I'm good, thanks.
What is that?
It's worse on the other side.
It's awful.
It's like a stained glass type thing, but it's not done nice.
Yeah, that.
It's not nice at all.
Sorry, it's very distracted. I've never seen those before. That is grim.
I wish I read my first read of these books. I read the first three at age 14, 15 when they were the only ones out.
Same.
Yeah, I started reading them just before Lady Midnight came out because I missed out on the Rune edition of Lady Midnight. But I've got it now, it's fine. I got my unicorn, but it was I missed out. But then I'd caught up completely by the time the Lord of Shadows was ready for pre-order, so I was quite late to it. But
I think I started when City of Glass came out. I bought the first three and then dropped it. Then didn't read them, read those, then kind of slowly bought the next ones. But then I had all of the old, I think they're the ones that Liv has actually.
Yeah.
Over in the distance. Over there. Like the older, bigger ones. I had all of those, but they were all mismatched and just not. Yeah. So then I was like, I'm just going to get the ones that make a nice picture. Yeah,
they're the ones I've got. Mm-hmm. I like the works.
It was cheap.
It was. Actually liked Sebastian at the beginning, but then when he took Clary to go and find Ragnarfell and the Fairchild Manor, that's when I started to question. I think the first conversation that Sebastian and Jace had was when I started to be like, but then the Manor was when I was like, no.
Yeah, definitely not.
But also, Ragnarfell turns up and it's like, Magnus.
That was great.
That was it.
I just love Magnus.
I actually forgot. I was like, because obviously going back and reading the Bane Chronicles, obviously no spoilers,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's a spoiler to say you find out that they knew each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine to say.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in his house, so
yeah,
they know who they are. And yeah, I was like, why is Ragnar like glamoured himself as Magnus? And then I was like, oh no, it is actually Magnus.
See, I thought, because I've not read the book before. When it came, I was like, is this another situation where Valentine was pretending to be someone else and he pretends to be this Raphael guy? And is this going to be a little bit where I'm really confused again? Then when he brought him to the place, I'm like, oh no, it's actually just Magnus. It's like,
yeah.
I think he made a sarcastic comment, and I was like, oh no, it is just him.
That's definitely Magnus.
and it just freezes my face. It's like, you shut up. Just
You
stay
shut
there. I wish I could do that to some people sometimes, but I don't want to listen to it. Just leave it there for a bit.
Hello, class. What are we talking about? We are up to we're just talking about, like, we're almost at the middle section of the book. Almost. I'm trying to put off talking about one thing.
Sophie, sorry, Sophie, but we need to talk about something.
I think she's past the bit that I'm talking about, but
okay.
I don't want to chance it yet. We'll get there. I'm just trying to put it off a bit. Yes, he was. He definitely was.
Yes.
He was in charge and determined to follow the rules.
Yeah.
But he always lets Jace off.
Yeah.
I can't remember how far in, but when Jace punches the window and then
yes,
Alec's like, no, I'm not going to put a ring on you.
Like, you've got some balls.
I will take the glass out and bandage it, but you're going to let that heal on its own to teach you a lesson. And I was like,
thank you.
Finally got some balls.
You can't just punch a window.
Yeah, especially when you're not even in your own house.
Yeah, exactly.
He's in the Penhallows house.
And he's just like,
like, actions have consequences, Jason. These are those consequences. You're welcome.
What do we think about Aileen?
uh,
Do you not like her?
No.
literally, I can't stand the girl, and I obviously don't know her, but I can't stand her. She's just so entitled, and like there were all the comments she make. Oh, I can't say it yet. But she comments on things, and I'm like,
I don't like her.
Understand, like, shut up. Because if somebody, say that's a real life situation, and someone was like, oh, well, how do you feel about this person? And I gave an answer, and they were like, well, I think you're wrong. And like, you asked me my opinion. Be quiet.
But because when Simon came in, and because it was different. And the way I was just like, excuse me, that's Simon you're talking to.
Yeah, you've got to look in the fact that even though she is one of the younger, like, she has been brought up by a different family. Yeah. So she's not grown up around downworlders, and she's very much grown up around people who are like, downworlders are bad.
Oh no, I don't like her for her shadow hunter interactions. I'm like,
See, it's really hard for me because you see more of her, and I'm like, I really love her.
I don't like her.
But I'm not going to say when you see more of her because I don't want to like anything spoilery.
I think I remember when you see more of her. And I'm just like, no, you really?
First impressions count, love, and you didn't make a good one.
See, I always forget about her being in this book completely. So I was like, oh yeah, it's the third book she comes into it. And I'm like, oh, my bad. Yeah, Sebastian. That's what we were talking about. I didn't want to say his name though, because. Oh yeah, Jason was off trying to find Simon. Can we appreciate that he was off? Can we appreciate Jason Simon's banter?
Yeah, that made me laugh. And you can tell that they're genuinely great to care about each other, but they don't want to admit that they care about each other. It's like, it's just for Clara. It's not though. It's because you've got a bond now, haven't you? No, it's not just that you sucked your blood. It's
And another bond that I kind of not forgot about, but I feel like it's better in this one, is I can't remember if it's when she first sees Magnus again, but he's like, oh, I'm not going to do that even for you, Biscuit. And I was like, Biscuit.
Oh! I'm like, oh, stop it.
Stop it.
Yeah.
She's not a nuisance.
Yeah. You love taking part and helping out, really, don't you? No, come on.
Like, Magnus always acts like, oh, I'm not on your like paycheck, but really he's like, oh, you've asked me to do something, okay, I'll help you.
Yeah. Like, I'll have your first pot of coal. Okay.
Is Alec gonna be there? I'll be there in 2 seconds.
Like, I am your wallet.
Yeah, everyone just like about Sebastian.
Yeah.
All the proper adults were in the council. I think they're going to be reached at that point in time. Yeah, so it was literally down to the kids. Great thinking there.
Very bad system.
It happens in all YA, doesn't it? YA middle grade, people just disappear.
Like, you would think there would be at least 1 or 2 that are available.
Around.
Some guards, maybe.
Yeah.
They rely on those wards too much, and it bites them in this book.
Oh God. They probably still won't let. They probably put some new ones up. I'm like, the new ones will.
Not gonna lie, kind of glad the literary editions were ugly. Yes,
Yeah.
My bank account was very happy that I hated them. I can't say the same about the Nevernight, but we won't go into that.
Oh God.
Currently reading Clockwork Angel, going in a different order. I think you're reading the release order. Ours is kind of release order, but kind of not. Yeah, I have a specific way I like to read it, which I think for me it's worked the best way in the past. But I hope you're enjoying Clockwork Angel. I love it.
Would have thunk she loves Scotland.
I'm doing a whole read along that's probably going to take her about 2 years.
I was thinking, and I was like, oh, when do I need this book for? Because I've got Chain of Gold, but I think that's as far as I go. And I was like, oh, when do I need it? Yeah, I was like, well, I've got a while.
Chain of Gold's more nearer the end of 2023.
There's no rush.
This read along is my first read of any Cassandra Clare books, but I'm really enjoying them. Can't believe I haven't picked these up sooner.
Same.
I love how many people are reading it for the first time, as well as how many people are rereading it. And I love how Chloe, you was like, I'm not going to reread them.
I'm having a great time.
And you're getting to annotate them as well.
Yeah. I think
I'm having so much fun doing that.
Well, I've got, because I said I originally read the like weird versions, so then I've never actually like opened these versions. So I was like, oh well, I've got them all. I'm gonna have, even if it's just this series that I annotate, I'm gonna have all 6 because I've never read the last one completely annotated, and I'm so excited for the last one. I've been spoiled for something that happens, and I'm like, so yeah, I'm excited.
I really wish you could tell me right now, but you can't because I don't want people to be spoiled.
Oh, hang on. Let me just send. I'll send a few words in the private chat.
Okay.
I'll look away.
I'm trying to spell shenanigans.
Oh yes, yes.
Yeah.
You can look up. Come on. Yeah. The last book is incredible. It's my favorite of all of these 6. But yeah, I'm excited for that one. The first book in the Eldest Curses, and then you continue with books 4 to 6, the More Instruments. See, I would leave Eldest Curses. I'm very much, the Eldest Curses were released very, very late.
Yeah.
So I'm like, nowhere near, even though it takes place, the first Eldest Curses takes place, I think it's after this one, but I can't remember exactly where in the Mortal Instruments it takes place. But I'm very much wait until you've read all the Mortal Instruments before you start the first Eldest Curses book. It's very late, and I stick to release order with that one. Same as the short story collections. Very much stick to release order on them because there are some really spoilery things in some of them. Hoping to get to City of Angels before your City. I'm so excited for the next one. I love that bit. Go, Alec.
Yep.
I love Aline, less so in this book, but I love her. Thank you. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I mean, I knew Tony liked her. It's amazing how from where Alex started in the series, he'd be the most sensible between him and Jace.
Yep.
Yeah. I loved Alec way more in this book. I felt indifferent towards Aileen. That's better than hating her.
I dislike her right now because of what she did. So.
I don't really like Aileen. I am very excited to see if yous all keep that view when we get to see her a bit more, because because
I really I know that she does appear, but I really can't remember. So
so Red Scrolls of Magic obviously takes place in between a couple of the books in this series. So but yeah,
we will see.
Aileen is better later in this book, but especially in the Red Scrolls of Magic. I also love how Simon has become a part of their group.
Yes.
And how quick Alec defends him. Yes. I love him so much. I
think Simon is brilliant. And I'm glad
Simon is my favourite character in the Mortal Instruments.
I feel like I think Isabel's mine.
I love Izzy.
She's great.
A lot of people hate her in the first book, and I'm like, don't
I love her
like that. It's the first time I've honestly read her books this way. Before I'd only read them series by series. Yeah, the first time I ever read this, I was told read at least the first 5, then read Internal Vices, then finish this series. Did I listen? No, I read all of these and was like, I hate my life. So now I'm very particular in my order. I'm like, no, you must read it this way. I'm reading for the first time. Read City of Glass before Christmas. This month will be a fresh read. I'm so excited.
I mean, I had mine planned for the mini magical readathon, and then I ended up not taking part in that, so I just didn't read the book. And I was like, Chloe, you were still supposed to read the book this month.
Don't worry, I did that with Shadow Kiss for the VA along. I started it today. It was on my March TBR.
It's fine.
The live show's on Monday. It's fine. I'll get it read in time.
Plenty of time. I read this in a day. You're fine.
I'm sad about me not having started Shadow Kiss yet. Well, I have now. I'm a fair amount into it. But thank you. Eldest Curses. Well, the first Eldest Curses takes place during book 4. The second Eldest Curses is later. After this. They're big gaps.
Okay.
So there is, if you was to read Lost Book of the White, actually, is it Lost Book of the White? I think it's Lost Book of the White that you shouldn't read before certain books. To be honest, I need to double check with some of them because they all just merge into one for me because I've read them so many times. But I will be checking before I get round to doing the announcement for that part of the read along anyway.
Yeah, because there was obviously the thing we need to talk about in a minute because we've been talking for nearly an hour and haven't mentioned the really big thing that's revealed. But I couldn't remember whether that was in this book. And I was like, there is no way I can go on a live show with Lisa and keep my face blank when she's making comments. I was like, I can't. So it was revealed and I was like, oh, thank God.
I was just like, everyone get your tissues ready for this book. Shadowhunters Codex, I would say the best place to read it, read these and read Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. And after that, don't read it before that. Everyone always forgets how important Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy is. It is very important, so you need to read it. So read that, and then you don't have to read Shadowhunters Codex. It is literally the code, like the handbook that Shadowhunters get when they're training as kids. But in it, there are like annotations from certain characters, and I can't say what characters. So
Chloe's like, no.
Yeah, but it's not imperative. It's just a bit of fun if you want to read it. I kind of enjoyed reading it, but I skipped over a lot of it and just mostly read the annotations from the characters. So
it's not fun.
It's not going to be in the thing is, I really enjoyed the annotations because they're funny.
Yeah.
Especially when 2 of the characters are doing annotations to each other in it. And that's funny. But the actual textbook side of it, I didn't care about. But you don't have to read it.
So in other words, don't waste your money. Just ask Becca for the quotes.
Shadowhunters Codex is not going to be on the read along.
Good.
So don't worry.
That would have been one that I missed by the sounds of it.
Alec, I felt, had time during the last 3 books to sort, whereas Jace has just had his whole life upended and there's a lot to sort through. Makes sense to rebels like he does. Yeah, it is definitely a very age-appropriate response. And this book sort of just throws a lot at him, a lot more than he already had. Red Squirrels of Magic takes place between 3 and 4, fully spoils this book. Yes.
Yes. Everyone's favourite.
Alec is my favourite.
Malik is just a thing.
The best couple.
I do love Simon, Izzy, and Maya. Luke is the only adult I can stand. Yes. I cannot stand Mayrus and Robert.
I can't stand
at all. Yeah, and you've hardly even seen her and you can't stand her. You already know you don't like her.
Legitimately, I'm just like, don't just walk back in and be like, no. Lied. And
they were big lies.
Yeah.
They're not little lies.
Huge.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Life changing.
Red Squirrels of Magic. There are so many websites that list different orders of how you can read her books. I tend to say the easiest way, release order.
Yeah, that's what I normally do.
My way is kind of release order. I don't like doing the whole read 3, 1, 4, 2. I don't like doing it like that. So I'm like, read the main bulk of this series, stop for 3 books, and then go back to the final book, because that's where you really need to have read it for. So, but yeah, if you're not sure, the best way is just release order.
Yeah.
And I think release order is what is on Cassandra Clare's that actual site. Yeah. So it's the best one to go. I'd say don't listen to other people.
Release order. She can't spoil things she haven't written yet.
Exactly.
So just stick to release if you're not.
There you go. So Chloe has spoken.
Just saying.
Bane Chronicles is going to be on the read along. The short story collections will be. Literally the only one that's not going to be included in the read along is Shadowhunters Codex, because you don't have to read that one if you don't want to. It doesn't give you anything extra other than a little bit of fun with the comments. That's it. So it's not needed. But Bane Chronicles is very much needed. Plus, it's a whole book about Magnus.
Yeah.
The best character. I got it in my box set, so I'll just read it at the point. Yeah. Okay, fine. We'll talk about the thing.
Sophie, please go, because this is going to spoil everything for you.
Yeah, I don't know if you're up to this bit, Sophie, so I would rather not spoil stuff. Max?
I was sat there sobbing. I was like, Cassie, you bitch. I really hate you. Why are you the child? It was such a funny character. I felt like I lost a child.
Yeah.
Not a bit dramatic, but seriously.
I feel like that was the point where I was like, right, Cassie's going to not pull punches in this series.
Yes, she's going to kill off people we want.
Yeah. She might not kill off certain characters, but there are going to be characters she's going to kill off, and it's going to hurt. It's not going to be like I know Max wasn't like a super main character, but he was enough of a character.
I thought I was going to do.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to do. They were going to do like a fake out, like, he's not really dead. He's just really severely injured, but he's okay. Yeah. And then I was like, they're at his funeral. I'm like, no, he's still going to be okay.
See, I'm glad. I'm glad that they didn't do a fake out with him, because they kind of did that with Izzy, because, Izzy's about to be smacked with something.
Yeah.
And then you don't find out for chapters what's happened.
Oh, I know. That was...
But that is the point. As soon as Izzy walks in and Sebastian's there and Max isn't, that's when I start crying on rereads, because I know what's coming.
It's because he said as well, didn't he? Sebastian was like, I've already dealt with one of you, or forgot his words. And I was like, okay, wait, I couldn't remember. I was like, well, I'm sure Izzy's not dead, but does he think he's killed her? Like, I forgot that Max was a potential. And then I was like, how dare you?
Just, it hurts. Also, I did see this come through, so we're good. It did come through.
I'm in a group chat with her, so I'll just be like, it's all sorry.
I've been putting this reread off for years, so I didn't have to read about Max again. I'm sorry, but also if we've got to go through the pain, everyone has.
Like, this is the only time I wanted like a resurrection trope, or it did just be a total fake out. I'm like, you can't kill a child. Why? Why are you killing Max? He's a funny character. It's the one that comes in with like little quips that's just like proper little brother things.
Do you know what one of my least favourite parts is when Clary...
I'm about to say. Go on. No, you
go. When Claire is like, I didn't even get to take him to Forbidden Planet.
No, well, actually, it's round about the same thing where I think, is it Luke says? Yeah, Luke's like, this morning was Max's funeral. It was a very small ceremony, just the family. I was like, okay. But I just put, I don't like this.
I don't like it here.
I'm pretty sure that was one of the bits I cried at as well. Because I've got blue for anything that's sad or makes me cry. And I can't remember what bit that was at. No, that's way too late in the book for it.
Max's funeral was 283.
Let's see, thank you. Did I?
Very handy that we got the same edition.
So much that I just stopped tabbing. I stopped tabbing at that bit. Yeah, I don't think I tabbed that bit because I obviously didn't want to read it again. I didn't want to remember that. But yeah,
that was horrible.
That didn't exist.
I forgot this and it was a lot. Every time he was brushed off by the teenagers, got left out, I just broke a little inside. And he didn't get to actually be a part of them.
And I went to Forbidden Planet yesterday.
I went last weekend.
And Max never got to go.
I think it hurts even more because it's just such a mundane thing. It's like, this is a offhand comment I made to him about taking him to like a comic store, and now I can't do it. And it's like those little things. Like it was just an offhand comment in an earlier book, and now it's never going to happen.
We're all just a bit broken now.
I literally, when I was rereading it, I had to actually put the book down. I was like, stop crying, stop crying. Stopped crying, carried on reading, and had to do it again because I was crying again.
I still haven't shed an actual tear yet, but there was one part I wrote somewhere, I'll find it in a minute, but where there were actually tears in my eyes. It was around about that time, but it wasn't for Max, so I feel like a bit of a dick, actually.
The thing is, I was start talking to myself like, they're not going to get to go to Forbidden Planet. I was just talking to myself because I don't live with anybody.
Oh, I found it. It's the same night, but it's when Luke walks in to the, like, so she knows that Luke's okay. And she's like, oh, where is it? He looked surprised for a moment as she barreled toward him, then smiled and put his arms out and picked her up as he hugged her the way he'd done when she'd been very small. And I was like, okay.
Oh.
So I just put, there are tears in my eyes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I cry at that bit too.
Yeah, because I was like, can you just imagine? He's run off and been a werewolf for a little while, and then he's come back like, hello. She's gone, hello. Like, it's so sad.
I love how like caring Luke is. He is literally the father figure to all of them. Even like Jason there. Doesn't even
you can
know.
tell there's like she loves him like he is her dad, even though she calls him Luke. Like, you know that the feelings that she has for him is like he is her dad.
He's been the only father figure she's ever had.
And you can tell that he loves her like she was his. And they don't have to say it. You just know it by how they treat each other and how he'll scold her when she does something wrong. And like she does listen to him, even though sometimes she's just like, oh, you can't tell me what to do. But she doesn't do that whole thing, which I was really glad she didn't do in this. When he was like scolding her at the beginning, I thought she would turn around and say something like, oh, you can't tell me what to do, you're not my dad. I was so glad they didn't do. She didn't put that kind of grossness in this because it was just like she just took it and realized that She did boo boo.
That would have like genuinely ruined the whole like relationship for me, because that's not what it's like. So if that was put in, that would have just been to make that point that, and it's like that point doesn't need to be made. She's aware that he's not her dad, but she respects him like he is.
Yeah. And it shows that even though she doesn't always listen, she does respect him.
Yeah.
Like, and she respects that he has been there for her all that time. He's always been there for her mum as well.
Yeah.
And he could go to it in like I'm in trouble. I'll go to Luke. Like, he's a comfort.
Yeah.
I think that's great.
Like, she even has a place at his house.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
She has a bag at his house of stuff, which is great because, you know, her house gets ruined in the first book.
Very convenient.
I've lost everything. There's a bag here. Maybe one change of clothes. And the fact that he buys her that is right at the beginning. He buys her the coat so she fits in a little bit more. And I was like, please stop it. Stop it, Luke.
He's just such a loving person, isn't he?
Yeah, the consul not accepting the help from downworlders.
That was dick move.
Like, just stop being so arrogant and like having your prejudices. Just accept the help. You clearly need it.
You clearly need
it.
Like, these are now adults.
Yeah.
And you'd think that as adults, fight your prejudices and whatnot. And because they know that they did come together at one point to defeat Valentine before, like, history proves that, and the fact that they've kept these accords for so long, that downworlders are not the evil beings that you make them out to be. They're not beneath you the way that you say they are. Clearly, the fact that they have come to help you without any sort of like deal to be made. Luke's like, look, I'm here, my back's here, let us help, we want to help. It's like, they're like, oh no, downworlders. I'm like, they're here to help you.
Yeah. They don't have to help you.
I'm just like, dude, punch him.
Yeah. Yeah, I just and it's just like, you know that there are some of the not necessarily like the consul or like part of like,
she's got me, I'm sorry.
Not in it. No. Stop it.
I'm just more picturing the fact that I'm like a foot shorter than most people, and I'd just be like, no. Run away.
That'd be it.
This.
Yeah. This is what we're meant to be saying right now. Yeah.
So eloquently put, Derek.
Thank you, Eric.
I'm just like, nope. Stop it. Listen to me.
The thing is, by this point, they already know, like, you know, there's demons in their city. Accept the help. You're clearly not going to win this on your own.
Oh, Luke could literally bite them in the ass, though, couldn't he?
He could. But also, okay, so this is a few pages after that. The look Sebastian gives Clary. Now, this is something I noticed on a reread. The look Sebastian gives Clary when she says, I want to go with my brother. Page 257.
Yeah, I know.
And it's like, you don't really notice it necessarily on a first read, because I didn't. But on a reread, you're like, oh, how did I not see that?
And he says, of course you do. And I'm like,
Yep. So
I haven't actually annotated anything on that whole page, but no.
I don't know if I actually did. There's probably a tab on that page, but I don't know. Oh no, I did. I did make a whole like. Oh no!
Oh no!
I didn't annotate that bit. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. It wasn't even a one-word annotation either. But yeah. So yes, that's a thing. Just we're getting closer to the like really big reveal. I'm so excited. And so if anyone is still here who hasn't read up to this point, please Go.
Or it's going to ruin the whole book for you.
We've had many spoiler warnings now. It's your last chance. So yeah, that's a thing. And then Simon's little speech to Clary about not regretting them trying.
Oh yeah,
It was such a wholesome thing, because it was like, I mean, it's cute.
It was wholesome, but at the same time, I was like, dude, just shut up. Like, it didn't work. Move on. There's no need for this discussion. Like,
yeah, but he's already eyeing up to more people.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, it didn't work with them. These two girls seem interested. Let's see.
I just want to go for Maya and just be like, be a wolfy vampire, not make little wolf vamp babies.
Is that even possible?
I don't know.
Can vampires procreate?
This is not Twilight.
Who knows? Who knows? Well, he doesn't shimmer, does he? He walks in the daylight.
There is a reason, though. Yeah.
He's a day walker.
Clary's little speech when she was talking about the binding rune gave me such like, yes, girl, yes, you tell those arrogant adults who aren't listening to you why you need this.
Queen. Yes, yes, queen.
But like, I absolutely love that speech, because I'm just like, for once, she's actually saying something smart.
Yeah. Eloquently put, with enough respect, but enough, this is what you need to do. She's very good.
Yeah, exactly.
Who'd have thunk it? It
works. I love the idea of the binding rune. Yes. I'm just like, yeah.
I like it, but I don't think, because the actual fight wasn't that much in it, we didn't actually get to see it work.
Yeah.
But we just know that it did. And I'm like, we could have, I mean, the book is long enough, but it would have been cool to be like, here's a direct example of when this happened, but because they had this power, they could do this.
Yes. Yeah, because it doesn't really, it just sort of says they share abilities and like things like that.
It Give me an example. I want a direct example.
It's
reference
it's tell, don't see in this. And it'd be nice to actually see it, even if it was like at the very beginning and then like off Clary goes.
Yeah.
Like, because it's from like her point of view, and like she should be able to at least see her room working.
Yeah.
And then she goes off and does her thing. It really did. For her, like putting things elegantly. I love Simon and Izzy so much.
Yeah,
they're awesome. Luke saying Jocelyn in that scene is so cute. Like, oh, who's gonna pair up with who? Jocelyn. That's the point. We haven't talked about that. Jocelyn's awake.
And she can go to sleep for like
yeah, she can go now. Bye.
The way she's like, oh, like walking in and like everything's gonna be fine. Like she doesn't have to explain herself.
Yeah, she's like, what are you wearing? And I was like, what are you wearing? It's not a hospital outfit. What are you doing?
Why are you here?
Also, like, she has no right to be taught. I know she's Clary's mum, but she has lied to Clary her entire life, and then she's just gonna walk in and act like, yeah, I'm just going to step back into where we were. Like, no, Clary's had a lot of changes going on in her life. Like, you need to step back a bit.
I'll tell you what to do. I'll tell you how to act. And, you know, me lying to you got me right to sleep. You almost edited, but it's okay.
Also, I love Luke's sister.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's awesome. I love her.
In the TV show, wasn't she an Iron Sister?
Yes.
Okay.
Another thing they changed.
That clears up my brain. I was like, this person is very familiar, and I don't know why. But
yeah. I'd have loved to see Magnus and Alec sharing their power.
Oh, that would have been so amazing.
Okay, we're just gonna kissing him in front of everyone.
Yes.
I literally fist pumped the air. Even on reread,
like Lisa.
I know it's happening. I know it happens at that point, but I'm still every time like, yes, Alec. Like you own that.
I've got to see if I've highlighted it. I know it was in pink, obviously.
Page 391.
Oh,
It's one of mine. No.
yeah, I did. There's a little pink section at the bottom. I didn't say anything. I had no words.
Mine is literally this literal fist pump the air.
I'm going to just write happy claps next to it.
It's one of my favourite things.
But it's just because you see that in book 2 where he was going to do it because of the happy claps. Because he was going to do it because of the fearless room before, and you know that he's doing it of his own volition this time, and he's doing it not because it didn't pressure him to coming out, but because it's just like he's coming out in his own time, but in his like an absolute amazing way. It's just like, I'm gonna kiss the person I care about, and
before we potentially go die.
Yeah, it's like, why not? Let's do this. I think they did mention it. Wait, what was this about?
Oh, it's just like power sharing, maybe.
Oh yeah, but we didn't actually get to see it, which is what I'm sad about. I wanted to see them like killing some demons together. Found it really anticlimactic, Jocelyn appearing after all that build-up, just her knock on the front door.
Yeah.
But like Chloe said before, the book was long enough.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
Could you imagine if they made a whole big deal out about that as well?
Actually, it's a very fair point on how she's just like constantly saying, I need to be the one to find this to wake up my mom. I need to do this. I need to do that. Magnus disappears for 3 days and she gives no shit.
And then she's like, oh,
did you do it?
You did it. It's like, don't doubt Magnus's word.
No.
He said he would.
But I just would have wanted a bit of like, oh, it's been a day. Haven't heard anything. Bit concerned. Should I go home?
Yeah.
She just kind of mentioned that she's not seen him around in the thing. But it's just like, she just mentions she's not seen him around. She's not like, oh, maybe I should go look for him. I'm not seeing him around.
Yeah.
But you know that she's thinking that maybe he's taken the book and just gone to do his own thing. And I'm just like, check on him, maybe?
Go to your mother's hotel room, maybe?
Yeah. Yeah.
That bit's just like, it gets me every time.
She's like, all right, I've done my little bit that I said I cared about. I'll just wait now.
I went back and I was like, I went back a few pages and started reading like, because she mentions it, and then she suddenly just says, I'm like, have I missed something? Because like I said, I didn't read it quite fast. I'm like, sort of like a short period of time. Like, have I missed a few pages where she actually goes to check? But Magnus, no, I didn't. 1 minute she's thinking it, and then she's there. Nothing in between. What?
I wish we got to see the Simon catching Jocelyn.
Yeah, because
Oh,
he's like climbing up the towery thing, isn't he? And she's like, "Good to see you're adjusting, Simon."
it's just like, oh, okay.
Oh, maybe you should have used the coming out leaflet on Jocelyn instead.
That would have worked.
Jocelyn was another thing they changed in the TV show, and it's the one thing that made me want to rage quit the TV show. But then I was like, well, what else are they going to change here? And that was the only reason I carried on.
Obviously, without spoiling the TV show for people who want to watch it, we're talking about the Alec thing, right? With the... No, maybe not.
I mean, the Alec and Magnus thing happens differently.
No, not that thing.
Oh.
The Alec Jocelyn thing. Hang on. I don't remember about her being gone.
Oh, yeah, that thing. That's not supposed to be in the TV show. No.
That's when you're like, spoil book 6 for yourself. Well done.
You spoiled everything. Goodbye. How are you going to end this now? In the show, it's her sister, and in the book, it's her mum that's an iron sister. Oh. That makes sense. Yeah, love that. I love Maya's line right after the kiss. Yeah, asking if the other pairs need to do that. It's like, he just wanted to, kiss Magnus, which, who blames him?
I think we all would.
Yeah.
Malik is just, Malik.
Yeah.
I was so proud of Alec for speaking up and acknowledging the fact that he had feelings for Magnus in that bit and wasn't afraid to show it in front of his family. There were very excited squeals at that point.
Yep.
Malik is everything. Love Maya's comment. Magnus and Alec kiss. I love the drama of their first kiss in the show. Yeah, it is very dramatized in the show, but I prefer it in this, like in the book, because there's a lot more build up to it in the book as well.
Yeah,
and it's just like
it's kind of like, you know, that it's kind of like, oh, he's looking for him and he sees him and he just goes to him. But he doesn't have to say anything to anybody else. He just goes to his love.
I love it so much. Mia's comment was great. Yeah. It's another thing in the show. Yeah. I'm trying to think what else have I.
We haven't mentioned the biggest thing yet.
It's actually the next thing. It's literally the bit where he's like, I'm not talking about Jace. When he's like, about the brother thing. So
Because
it's not your brother.
You can go back to snogging him.
the feelings that you've got are not wrong.
The weird feeling.
Where's it gone? Finally, we all know.
Yeah, I think I did a comment on that bit as well. Where is it? Trying to find the page. I know where the page is.
And the reason why we get the Prince Sebastian kissed her is because
yeah.
And he's a demon, obviously, but you know, just a little bit. Just got a bit of demon with him.
This is the Malik kiss. Yeah. Feels
but
like
the song they play when it happens, as soon as I hear that song, I'm like, I am just feeling romantic right now. Like I can't not. But it is definitely a completely different vibe. But
oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I love it in both. Like it's one of my favorite things. And I remember that episode of Shadowhunters aired like the same week of my birthday, and I was like, happy birthday to me. Because I was like, yes, this is what I've been waiting for. Alec, I think, has accepted he's gay or bi, and he just doesn't care after that, especially once Jace sets him straight. He just wants what he wants, and he's not afraid to take it.
Words, Erin.
Literally.
Yeah, that's so straight.
Which in a way is good, because he doesn't screw Magnus around more than he does. And he knows that Magnus is out, and he's very much like, if you want to kiss me in public, go for it. Magnus was very much, I'm taking things at Alec's speed, because Alec is the one who needs that. And yes, they're just so good together. Oh my god, all of it. But the part that killed me most was from book 2, when Imogen realised who Jace was right before she died. Been dying to talk about this. Yes, he is Herondale, which is one of the things that is a spoiler that everyone talks about, because they always refer to him as Jace Herondale, because you know, and it's like, for people who've never read it, it's like, but that's Jace Wayland, and then Jace Morgenstern, and
who the
Jace
hell is
Lightwood. Like, who is he?
Who is he?
He has like a million different names.
All of the above.
Literally. I'm so glad the incest thing was horrible. Yeah,
but then Sebastian wanted to.
I think with that, it just shows how messed up Sebastian is, and the fact that it's not like romanticized with Sebastian. It's very much like, no, this feels weird, please stop. And when you find out, and it's like, she recognized that was weird. She didn't go into it.
You know the bit where they're like rolling around on the grass, and he's like, oh, you should stop me now, or maybe you should stop me now, or maybe you should stop me now. And I literally wrote on the bottom, we shouldn't be swooning, but we're swooning. Because I was like, I really like this situation, but I know that I'm not supposed to.
I when I finished reading book 1, my sister had already read it, and I literally was like, if you don't tell me if they're actually brother and sister, I'm going to just look it up and probably spoil loads of other things. So you had to tell me. So I went into the rest of the series knowing.
Yeah, so obviously when I read them, I didn't know. And I was reading that rolling around in the grass scene, and I was like, oh, I like this too much. What the hell is wrong with me? And then I found out, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. It's okay.
The thing is, like, when you think back on it and you find out that they're not brother and sister, and it's kind of like, you know why they were feeling that way. Yeah. And then when you realise that Sebastian's really her brother, and she actually says, like, it felt like dark, it felt wrong, it felt like she was doing it, like in her mind it was telling her to stop, that like it kind of reflects the fact that they know incest is wrong, and there wasn't promoting incest. It was just that, you know, it took her a while to tell us the truth.
But even you, was it you that was saying it? There was someone on one of the live shows that was saying that even in the first book, like, why are they just suddenly believing everything Valentine says?
Yeah, that was me, I think. It was me as well.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, they're just
taking it as a given.
They're just
DNA test.
Yeah.
I'm 100% not interested.
Yeah, that or Jeremy Kyle, both.
Especially with Screwed in the Head, but Clara was like, no, stop, when he tried to push it.
Oh, that was icky when he was like forcing himself. Oh, nope.
Yeah. And I feel like part of it was like, well, you think Jace is your brother, but you're going for it with him still. Yeah. And it's like, okay, different situation. Please stop. Just you know from the get-go, she is your sister and you're trying it. Jace and Clary, when they started, didn't know.
Yeah.
I know it still would have been really bad if they were actually siblings, but when they started, they didn't know. Sebastian knew full well.
And when you think back on it, they, as much as people were telling them that they were brother and sister, you could tell that they were not outwardly questioning it, but they were just like, well, how can we feel this for each other?
Feel right, yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't feel like a brother and sister. Like, you could tell that they didn't feel it.
There was very conflicting feelings for them.
Yeah. And you do hear about, obviously, I'm not saying anything is right or wrong, but you hear about people who like meet each other, get married, have a kid, and then they're like, oh, by the way, that's my cousin. I've just figured that out. Like, we have no way of knowing. And it's just like, okay, so Clary and Jace meeting, if they don't know, they don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Something interesting happened there. You both went.
One of the dogs has got a habit of like biting her foot, and she's made it really red. And Liv's seen it and gone, Sammy, stop.
Oh, you just both went. Like, what's happening? You guys okay?
I feel like people who read Clockwork books first would be able to work out that Jace is a Herondale because he is so much like his relatives.
Yes.
Like, wait until you guys.
They are the same character.
They are.
It's the same.
Favorite. Herondale's in. Yeah, that's Liv's.
Liv's like my favourite.
If you all fall in love with Will, you've got Liv to fight.
I fight dirty.
In a posh voice, I fight dirty.
Anyone in the comments has joined a bit late. Liv is in my house and she's sat on my sofa.
Yeah.
Just firmly pointing out that Will Herondale's hers for when we get to those books. But yeah, the Herondales, every Herondale we meet, that there is a type.
Yeah.
Like, be prepared for that we meet
Herondale. Like it's definitely my type. I quite like those guys.
I do wish we'd gone a bit more background on Jace's mum.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to say anything because that's all I'm saying on it. Plus, it was only half a book, not a whole series. And CNS, Clary and Sebastian wasn't really a thing. It was a barely attempted thing. Yeah, exactly. It was very much shut down at the exact moment. Yeah. Sebastian kept trying to push it, and it was like, no, stop it. Yes, honestly, it's the most, like, honestly, on these live shows, it's such a relief now. Because the first two, I just wanted to be like, don't worry, they're not siblings.
In the first one, I was like, I just want them to be like, they're not together, they're not siblings, they're not, so it's fine. They can get together, there can be a thing. Let's just make it not real. At that point, I didn't want Simon to be in there, but now I don't. But,
That's why we all didn't like Simon in book 2. We were like, it's not
Yeah,
working.
he does annoy me in book 2, but yeah. Don't know how I feel about the angel in the basement. Oh yeah, we haven't talked about the angel.
That
See,
hurt
there's
my heart.
so much to talk about in this book.
I know. It's been an hour and a half already. I'm sat here like, I'm going to need to pee soon.
Yeah. But yeah, the angel, that's a thing that happens.
Himself.
Yeah.
And we obviously get the revelation about Jace and Clary and what Valentine did.
They got angel blood.
Yay!
So Jace, stop acting like you've got demon blood now, please, because you're really annoying me.
But also, now that Simon's drank that angel blood mixed with Shadowhunter, like, what is Simon? I know he's a day walker, what we call him, daylighter, but like, what does that mean? Like, mixed with demon and angel blood, like download their angel blood. What?
Also, the mark that Clary puts on Simon, and Raphael being like, really?
Great, thanks for that.
Yeah. Raphael was like, oh, so you know, that's how you're gonna get out of being part of our little vampire pack, eh? I love Raphael. Like, he is one of my favorite characters. He's awesome.
I don't know why they wanted to kill Simon, so I don't like him. Nobody
I think
Simon.
Raphael's literally like, okay, so first you can walk in the sun. Now I can't kill you. Like, you're really spiting me now.
Like, I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
And that is literally Raphael's type of character as well. Seb is definitely messed in the head, but it's his villain origin story.
You could just die.
And then I can't remember my first read, but I think I presumed they weren't siblings and it was misdirection because it was typical YA of the time and they were clearly the main ship.
Yeah.
Yes. It is. The thing is, everyone automatically is like, oh my God, they're siblings. But then you've got to think of it in this way.
Yeah.
That is that really going to be the direction it's going to go in?
Well, I remember thinking that was such like a common misdirection thing. Obviously not like brother and sister, because I can't think of many other examples, but like that we were being lied to. And I thought, but wait, this is quite a savage, like that's quite a step. How do you then come back to that? So I thought it was true when I first read it. I was like, oh my God, am I messed up in the head? Because I want
Yes, you are.
This is why I made Tony tell me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I genuinely can't be liking relationship knowing.
But saying that, I remember saying, I think Jamie's read it as well, because there was a book I have read which is about a brother and a sister, and it screws with your brain.
Yeah.
It's really, really weird.
Yeah.
So I hadn't read that at this point, but
yeah. That bit got me, Liv. I felt so sorry for the angel. Yeah, Valentine is like just the worst of the worst, like experimenting on like torturing an angel, experimenting on his unborn child, and it like by accident, unborn children.
Yeah.
And other people's unborn children. Yeah. Like,
I think maybe address that bit. Like, he's messed up in his own way to his wife, but then he just goes, "Oh, hello, random lady who's also pregnant. Would you like this? Whatever he calls it, I can't even think now. Potion, but not potion. Tonic. Was it a tonic?
Yeah.
Would you like this tonic?" She's like, "Yeah, go on, man. Cheers." Drink that.
My brain can't figure out how we managed to alter a fetus once Jocelyn was pregnant. I mean, she was, it
was like absorbed.
Yeah, and then obviously she was already taking with the angel blood, she was already taking that and she got pregnant. So with the angel blood, I mean, the demon blood was messed up anyway, but we got Sebastian, so makes sense. Do we think the way Sebastian was a result of Valentine or just who he was? Well, the thing is, the upbringing itself, Jace and Sebastian were brought up very similar. So I definitely feel like it's more based on the demon blood in him. And not so much. I mean, Jace is pretty messed up from his childhood, but not that sort of messed up.
I was going to say he's not snogging his sister, but he is.
At first, he didn't. And the thing is, you get the inner monologue of Jace, like, I've got demon blood. Is this
I could kill myself.
Attracted to someone I think is my sister, and it's like, you know, it's medicine time for the dog. So yeah, it's like, it's obviously constantly he's having that inner monologue, and I'm just like, Jace, baby, stop. Like, please stop feeling this way. I just want to like bubble wrap.
I could just see the little plastic cone. That's so sad.
Oh,
yeah. She had to have an operation on her leg a few days ago, so she's having her medicine, which is wrapped in ham.
She's ham that she's getting.
She loves ham. But yeah, I can confirm this. Oh yeah. Combo of both. After what's explained in the book, found he did. Yeah. I do think it's definitely more of the demon blood.
Yeah.
But the upbringing doesn't help. And also, you don't know if there was something he did differently, because Valentine knew that Jace was too soft. And at that point, he was no longer bringing Jace up, but he was still bringing Sebastian up.
Yeah.
And he obviously went in a different direction with Sebastian, and Sebastian was a lot more susceptible to it because of the demon blood. So
my A-level psychology is like nature and nurture.
Yeah.
It's definitely both.
Yeah.
She leaves so many hints to them not being siblings, especially when they talk about their looks. She's welcome to Will I'm more. No. Gem's mine.
Oh, I'm just not into Gem.
Gem is mine. I will fight you. I also fight dirty.
That's why we're good friends, Becca.
Yeah, me and Liv never have the same favourite characters in books, so this is why we work so well as friends. I agree. Will's so similar to Jace, but I feel you understand why he's that way more than Jace. I'm not going to go into Will. We'll get to that when we read it.
We've got a while.
We've got a while. Was this originally supposed to be a trilogy? Yes. Yes. So it was originally supposed to be a trilogy. It was supposed to be 2 trilogies. And then it was just one series. So yeah, this is essentially the end of a trilogy. And then books 4, 5, and 6 is another trilogy. But yeah, so this one sort of like wraps things up enough. Which is good, but also I want more. I'm glad we got more.
Start singing "To Become One" in a very high-pitched voice, but we don't need that. But just imagine it.
I love that.
I was going to do it, and then I was like, "We're live on the internet, probably shouldn't."
Where to become one.
There we go. That's what I wanted to do.
Lisa took one for the team.
Yeah.
Team Gem always. I'll fight you. Yeah, meant to be a trilogy. It's so strange, that book. Yeah, so obviously we're going to see more in the next few books, because it's left enough unwrapped that we need more. I think Jace's time with the Lightwoods helped him. Yeah, so that teenage years, he had a different upbringing to Sebastian, and he actually got a kind of healthy upbringing.
Kind of.
Still not great, but
I was just, because we were talking about how it wrapped up, and I've actually written, because I always say her name wrong and you always say it right, but because I'm always like Clary, whatever, whatever she's called, says to the Sealy Queen, "I don't need a favor from you. I have everything I want." Yes. And I just highlighted it and I was like, wow, it feels like foreboding.
Yes.
I feel like she's going to be asking for a favour sometime soon, because something's going to go wrong.
Yeah. I'm excited to reread these like 4th, 5th, and 6th ones, because those ones sort of merged for me. So, yeah. And I'm excited to see what everyone else thinks of it because there's so much more to come, and I'm so
excited to see Jace
excited.
and Clara's relationship now that they're official.
Yes,
and they've accepted feelings for each other.
And I actually made a note of this. Clary's threatening to kill Jocelyn if she doesn't go after Luke.
Yes.
I'm just like, yes, Clary, you tell her. And
if
I'm
you
just
don't go after Luke, I will personally kill you.
And I'm just like, oh, I love it so much.
Yeah, I like that bit.
So much fun.
But yeah, I can't even remember what context this was in, but I wrote a quote: "Weakness and corruption aren't in the world; they're in people."
Ooh.
And it's like,
So true.
Yeah, it is page 437.
Oh, missed that one, I think.
Let's all turn to page 437.
No, I've missed that.
Oh, okay. So,
Oh, I'm highlighting that. Where's my highlighter?
So the consul's saying about it's not murder, it's cleansing. Valentine will make a new world of shadow hunters, a world purged of weakness and corruption. And then Claire is like, weakness and corruption aren't in the world, they're in people and always will be. The world just needs good people to balance them out, and you're planning to kill them all.
I think that was at the point where I'd highlighted so much, and I'd been reading for about 6 hours, so I kind of gave up.
I mean, that's understandable with how speedy you read it.
Yeah, so let me just highlight that.
I'd say Team Magnus, but I love Alec too much. Yeah, I love Magnus, and I'm Team Magnus in the sense he's my favourite character, but not in like I don't want to take him away from Alec.
No.
Which Valentine do you prefer, the one in the show or the one in the books? I feel like the one in the movie we didn't get enough of.
Agreed.
I feel like movie Valentine would have been a really good Valentine and more accurate to the books.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to say
TV show. Yeah. I wasn't a massive fan of Valentine, the TV show. I felt like they didn't properly write him, but I say that about all the characters in the TV show.
Yeah, I have not yet found a TV show I love that has any sort of book or like movie, anything book to movie or TV. I haven't found one I love. Because I'm
Have
always...
you read Discovery of Witches?
No. Do I own that? No.
It's a really good adaptation. It is my favourite adaptation, and I think second favourite is probably Shadow and Bone. But obviously that one's sort of hard to do because it's mixed Six of Crows but yeah, we're not going to talk about that. Discovery of Witches is a really good adaptation. Like all 3 series for all 3 books is the main thing here, Sebastian's body was not found.
Yes.
Yeah, I literally wrote nobody equals not dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
I agree.
Give me a situation where there isn't a body and we're like, yeah, they're dead. Like, no.
No.
Yeah,
Especially if, okay, that actually sounded a bit too broad. There are many situations that happens, but if you know that you have physically killed someone and then they're not there, they're not dead.
Especially as it's not like they went off, did their thing, came back, and
No.
the body's gone. An animal might have dragged it away. They were still in the same sort of clearing, and the body suddenly disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, right, let's first time I like during that bit with Clary telling Jocelyn what to do. Yeah, Malik belongs together, nothing can tear them apart. Love that quote. Vampire Diaries, but only because I've never read the books. I've heard the books are not like the TV show.
They're awful.
I'm not going to go near the books.
That is my favorite TV show of all time. I read the first 2 books and I was like, what is this? Even the characters aren't even the same characters. Like, they don't even have the same names.
Yeah, I heard that. So I'm just
their last name isn't even Salvatore. It's like an Italian switch on it because obviously it is Italian, but like they make a point that it's not quite Salvatore, and I'm like, oh, no. I've watched 8 seasons of this. Let me have it. Sorry, I get very passionate about the Vampire Diaries.
No, I'm with you on that. I didn't even give any of the books a chance though because I heard bad things. Sorry.
No, it's just in the. Obviously, I won't say who it is in case somebody reads it. But at one point, somebody becomes a planet. Is what I've heard.
I think I remember hearing that, and I was like,
No.
That just does not make.
No.
Anyway, carry on. Sorry, I was.
I felt that they dragged Valentine out in the show. After a while, I was just waiting for them to get rid of him. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
They definitely went past the 3 books on the show and needed to be in.
When he died, I was like, wait, is he actually dead? Because I couldn't remember matching the show to the TV. I was like, the show to the TV to the book. I was like, I'm not quite sure if he is dead. But yeah, it was very confusing.
And you know Valentine's dead because there's a body.
And a funeral, and they burn it.
Gone. Bye-bye. Which I was really happy about. But obviously, you know, Sebastian will be back in the 4th book. Like,
yeah, we know this.
Yeah, there was no body. But yeah, I think we've covered everything now.
Can I have one teeny thing?
Yes.
Okay. It was near the end, and I had to write, ooh, I have positive emotions, Valentine. Because 467, if you're interested. And it's Luke telling Jace that he can't get away from the fact that Valentine sent him to people who would love him because he was too weak and everything. And he was like, I wouldn't forget about that if I were you. It might have been one of the few things he ever really did for someone else. And I just put, ew. Because I don't want to like Valentine in any sense of the word. But that, that doesn't make sense.
That was sweet.
But I'm more like, Luke, just...
Maybe it's just Luke seeing the good in people.
Yeah. I feel like it definitely is, because this is Luke and he always sees the good in people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, you, I love you. Do you have anything else?
No.
Do you have anything else?
Sorry, that was the most northern no I've ever had from you. I don't have anything else.
Covered everything.
Does anyone in the comments want to add anything else in? Because I think we've covered everything in this book, and we have been talking for nearly 2 hours.
I know, but there's a lot. It's a big book.
Yeah, this one, I mean, to be fair, the second one had quite a lot to talk about, not as much as this. I think the second one we was talking for like an hour and a half. There is a lot to talk about in these books, this one especially. And I think City of Heavenly Fire is going to be similar to this. Like, there's so much.
And I mean, you invited me, and I don't shut up. So
and it doesn't help that this is rereads for us too. Yeah. So we're like, talk about this and this and this and this and this.
Like, you've got to add 20 minutes if I'm here.
I think we have got it all covered. Pretty much covered everything.
Yeah.
So much does happen in this one book. But well, thank you everyone for joining. Lisa and Chloe, you had no choice. But Chloe, thank you for like powering through today and finishing the book. Like, I am impressed that you managed to
I'm in 6 months for book 4.
God.
Sad.
I don't think it's going to be 4 hours, but honestly, it wouldn't surprise me.
We could just start it earlier.
Right, earlier. We'll be fine. We'll have like a little break in the middle.
Intermission.
Same thing.
On that note, thank you everyone for joining, and I'll see you next time.
Adios, amigos.